Yo, what's going on, guys? Mush back at it with another video. The Day Before saga has been quite the roller coaster to cover. Has it been a roller coaster? Honestly, it's just kind of just been like a whirlwind, I guess, would be more of an apropos term. I don't even know what to call it. It's like just craziness all around as far as what's going on with this game. I think most of us were kind of surprised that the game actually hit early access, but then man, oh man, what a turnaround with the studio shutting down. They have an official statement about the game, have some details about it. Fantastic. The development studio behind The Day Before has put out a statement noting, "Today we announced the closure of Fantastic Studio. Unfortunately, The Day Before has failed financially, and we lack the funds to continue. All income received is being used to pay off our debts to our partners. We invested all of our efforts, resources, and man-hours into the development of The Day Before, and that was their first huge game. We really wanted to release new patches to reveal the full potential of the game, hence why it went into early access." However, what is interesting about this early access period is the game actually sold 200,000 units, which for a day one early access period, I feel like that is a pretty good number. However, while it has sold 200,000 units, 91,000 refunds have been asked for on the same day. So that's what I noticed with The Day Before. A lot of people were just out of morbid curiosity decided to check the game out because there has been this storied history attached to this game. So they decided to check the game out and then ultimately decided to refund the game as well. And there was no obviously there was no risk attached to that because they didn't crack the 2-hour window. However, that's only 91,000 people, so there were still 109,000 legitimate sales, which is quite interesting. Now, also noted on IGN, The Day Before was one of Steam's most wish-listed game. We talked about that. IGN-specific review in early access said they gave it a 1 out of 10, where The Day Before is easily one of the worst games I've ever played, to the point where I'm afraid to continue running it on my PC, and if you didn't manage to try it, you can count yourself as one of the lucky ones. Also, a lot of talk has been had The Day Before a scam, demanding refunds, etc., etc. In a statement issued to IGN, a Fantastic spokesperson confirmed that the developer and its publisher, Mytona, are working with Steam to open up refunds to any player who wants one, regardless of game time. Steam's refund policy obviously limits you to refunds if you bought the game within 14 days and you didn't play for 2 hours or more. A lot of people played for over 2 hours, and if you cracked that 2-hour time, you were SOL, and they got your $40. Especially why that is even more egregious if they weren't offering refunds is because you were selling a product in early access. The whole idea of an early access product is that you are going to continue to improve it. It would be one thing if the game was seeing updates for 6 months, a year, and ultimately it was still in early access and then they shut down. It would still be like, okay, you should offer refunds because the game ultimately never came out. However, this was a case where the game was out for a day, 1 day, and then they were like, all right, we're done with updates. You guys that bought the game, it is what it is. But again, refunds will be handled. Answer to those who ask for a refund, Mytona, and we're currently working with Steam to allow refunds for any player who chooses to request one, regardless of game time. Fantastic receive $0 and receive nothing from The Day Before sales. Unbelievable that you guys hyped this game up so much, and this is the end result. One ex-user said, "You guys are an absolute disgrace to the video game industry." And Fantastic replied saying, "This was our first big experience, as happens." And then obviously it continues to go on and on, back and forth. This has just been one of the craziest game stories that I've covered on this channel in my history of making videos on YouTube, and this is one of the more insane ones where the game was the most wish-listed game on Steam at one point. Like, you will never be able to take that away from The Day Before, and it kind of just goes to show how crazy vaporware and just these misleading trailers can get in gaming. And that's why I always say, guys, like, I know no, not everybody wants to be like me and be completely pessimistic about gaming as a whole, but I really feel like being pessimistic towards gaming these days is just gonna end up being so much better off, especially like, yo, like, they're revealing Knights of the Old Republic getting a remake. How many years ago did that happen? Is that game ever going to come out? I don't know. And obviously, the day before is a different story where the game showed footage and things like that, and then ultimately it seemed like it was going to come out, and then it did release, etc., etc. There's so many nuances to the day before's release, but I just feel like gaming as a whole, there's so many times where we see footage of a game, information about a game, and ultimately you're left disappointed. I mean, what happened with Cyberpunk 2077? Like, that obviously CDPR is beloved in the gaming world today, but a decade of hype and buildup attached to Cyberpunk 2077, and, you know, back in December of 2020, what were people left with? A lot of disappointment, a lot of anger, and again, every situation is going to be different. In the case of Cyberpunk 2077, that's a game that over the course of 3 years, CDPR has continued to update. The day before, I don't know if this game was ever supposed to actually come out. I don't know if this was just a slap-together game trailer that people, you know, posted online, and then it gained some traction, and then maybe from that it evolved into, hey, we've got something here. But from what I can tell about the day before, and everybody that's played it has told me that this game just seems so slapped together as a survival extraction title. It's Division, but completely stripped of a lot of the content. And the thing is, it wasn't like it was a $20 game either. It was a $40 title. So what was the idea? Obviously, Fantastic had an idea of what this game's state was. There is no way anyone in their right mind was like, yo, we're delivering a banger here and we're gonna sell like, what was the expectation to be a financial success? You're saying 200k units with, you know, 91,000 refunds? That's still north of 100,000 units. I feel like that's a pretty successful number. And again, I talked about this in the last video. When you're releasing a product into early access, the idea isn't for you to become a financial success off of early access right out the gate. At least I don't think that should be the idea, given that you're releasing an unfinished product. An unfinished product is not supposed to be a financial success right off the rip. Am I wrong about that? That is just how I always interpreted early access. Obviously, there are games that hit early access and right away are incredible financial successes. But even a game like Baldur's Gate 3, that game ultimately saw its massive success after it came out of early access. I'm sure that game was financial. They had a good financial idea of where it was going, and you know, the day before, comparing the day before to Baldur's Gate 3, like that's every situation is different, and I'm just trying to assess how are developers and publishers assessing the early access period on Steam. Is it supposed to be a financial success? I understand that you're supposed to get some sort of financial kickback, given that you're selling a game, you're selling it for $40, etc., but you know, what is that expectation? Your expectations have to be tempered in an early access period, and you would think the early access period is just utilized to ultimately make the final product better. That's what I would think early access would be, but at the very least, refunds are going to be issued out. Even if you crack 2 hours of game time, no sweat there. Steam and you know, Fantastic, Mytona, they're all working on getting refunds out for everybody. But this is one of the craziest stories that I'm sure people will be breaking down for years and years. And, you know, part of me is, like, kind of surprised we even saw a day where the game was released. But, you know, was it even really released? What initially... Like, there's one thing about a Cyberpunk 2077 having unfulfilled promises, but the day before is like a whole different ballgame. Like, we're talking about, like, borderline scam territory here, and I wouldn't say a lot of those other games are scams when, you know, the hype is so high and then maybe it falls short of promises and things like that. Like, this is a whole different ballgame, but that's gonna do it for me. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comments section down below. As always, guys, thanks for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out. Hey, what's going on, guys? Mush here again. Hope you enjoyed the video. As you guys might know, YouTube's notification system is sometimes a little bit wonky, even if you're subscribed to the channel. Maybe you're not abundantly aware that I uploaded a video. To remedy that situation, make sure you hit the bell notification button. This way, whenever I upload a new video, and I try to upload as consistently as possible, you will be notified directly of the upload, and you can watch it as soon as it goes live. I would really appreciate if you guys hit that button so you can stay up to date with all of the content I'm posting. But as always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.